Coming up, Newswave exclusive news about the fire alarm in South Hall last weekend. The details of it was a false alarm or a real fire.
And the government shutdown has come to an end. What to expect as things begin to reopen after the longest shutdown in history.
All this and more right now on Newswave. Welcome back to Newswave. Today is Friday, November 14th. I'm Emma Holcomb.
And I'm Kiara Taylor.
This past summer, the Trinity Gardening Club was robbed of their tools from their supply shed, including items like shovels and spades. In an article by the Trinitonian, the club noted their appeal to the SGA back in October to gain funding for replacement tools. Royce Lafite, the Gardening Club's event coordinator, explains the lack of security in the club's efforts to regain their lost supplies, saying, quote, "There's no one here over the summer. We got robbed and everything was bad," end quote. SGA later gave a reimbursement, and the club has now mostly regained what they originally lost, and the club is now making efforts to begin new activities such as taking care of bees, building bird feeders. This positive recovery from their incident seems to signal a new chapter for the club.
Viz is an online social media platform where students can post anonymously. On October 15th, Dean of Students Jessica Edenik announced at a Student Government Association meeting that this semester a Trinity student stood on a balcony contemplating suicide due to harassment and bullying taking place online on Fizz. SGA President Omar Watrat said to the Trinitarian, quote, "Students have this resentment and this utter hatefulness that they feel comfortable spewing anonymously. That's not going to simply evaporate or dissipate once this platform is banned," end quote. However, some students feel like Fizz fosters community. Anna Fredrickson, junior at Trinity, said it helps facilitate campus life, quote, "because there's a lot of communication about what exactly is going on campus, like how frats will advertise their parties," end quote. Ratwood said the Fizz negative effects are not because of the app itself, but Trinity's campus culture, and that students need to play a role in this change.
Last weekend, South Hall was evacuated due to a fire alarm. According to the Trinitonian's Instagram, fire trucks were dispatched around noon on November 8th, and TUPD Sergeant Roberto Lopez said that they did not find anything. Newswave reached out to residents of South for more information, and a resident relayed that an email was sent out to the hall from Residential Life saying, quote, "It was not a drill. However, emergency response was able to tend to the situation quickly." Other South residents that were asked about it are all unclear about the cause of the fire, and though many have theories, an official cause has not been identified. Newswave will be sure to keep you updated if more information becomes available.
Coming up, your weekly weather update as the weather continues to cool down.
And updates on the airport delays at the San Antonio airport and what to expect for Thanksgiving traveling.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love. Love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Welcome back to Newswave. According to San Antonio Express News, the San Antonio Water System, the company that provides cooling water to many state-operated locations, recently agreed to spend around $1 million repairing their Commerce Street plant. This move comes amidst the recent approval of Project Marvel, which calls for a new entertainment district to be built. As part of Project Marvel, the land the Commerce Street plant currently stands on would be torn down and replaced with a hotel. Jamie Castillo, the San Antonio Water System Senior Vice President, said, quote, "Because of those ongoing conversations, the project was scaled back from initial plans, which called for about $5 million in work on the cooling tower. Previous estimates have pegged the cost of moving the plant at around $200 million, so it remains to be seen whether the project or the plant will move first."
The weather in Texas is always unpredictable, so our chief meteorologist, Luke Morton, has your update on what to expect this week. Take it away, Luke.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. I hope you all had a great week and are enjoying the sunny and warm weather today. If you like the warm weather, you're in for a treat this weekend. This weekend, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies, and we will be approaching record high temperatures. Look for highs in the mid to upper 80s, and it may even approach 90 degrees on Sunday. These temperatures will continue in your work week next week with highs in the upper 80s for Monday and Tuesday. On Tuesday, there is a slight chance for isolated showers and thunderstorms, but the rain is far from a guarantee. There will be a pattern shift in the middle of next week, which will bring a cool front and higher rain chances to south central Texas. Rain chances on Wednesday will be more elevated with a 30 to 40% chance of a storm. Any storm that does form could be severe. The end of next week will also see a slight cool down with highs near 80 and lows in the mid to upper 50s. However, these temperatures are still above average, and a true cool down will not happen until the week of Thanksgiving. Speaking of Thanksgiving, this is the last Newswave episode before Thanksgiving break, and I want to take a moment to thank everyone behind the scenes that make Newswave possible and for your hard work and dedication, and they do not go unnoticed. Anyways, I hope you all have a great week next week and an amazing Thanksgiving break filled with family, food, and rest, and I'll see you all in December.
The Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, will reduce flights across 40 airports in the U.S. According to News for San Antonio, the Texas airports impacted are Dallas Love Field, Dallas Fort Worth, Houston Hobby, and George Bush Houston International. Although the San Antonio International Airport is not on the list, airport officials sent out a statement regarding the cutbacks, saying that while they are grateful they are not part of the FAA reductions, travelers may still be impacted. Some buyers are buying travel insurance as a safety net, but while travel insurance covers trip cancellations or interruptions, it will not cover passengers who miss their flight due to being stuck in TSA lines. If your flight is still on time, it is recommended to arrive at the airport 3 hours early, even for domestic flights.
Last Sunday, November 9th, Governor Greg Abbott announced his plans to run for a fourth term as governor of Texas. In an announcement made in Houston, Abbott discussed his plans for the future of the state, saying, quote, "We will protect what we built, we will finish what we started, we will lead Texas into its glorious future. And that's why tonight I'm here to announce I am running for re-election as your governor for the great state of Texas," end quote. According to CBS News, he also discussed his plans for a property tax reform plan and mentioned that Texas is #1 in electricity generation. President Donald Trump backed Abbott's re-election in a post on Truth Social, announcing, quote, Greg Abbott has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. He is an exceptional governor and the man. He will never let you down. Though we are still a little less than a year out from the 2026 election, other candidates have also announced their plans to run, including Democratic candidates Andrew White of Houston and State Representative Gina Hinosa.
Just ahead, an update on the ending of the government shutdown and a closer look at a cuddly event on campus. Don't go away, we'll be back in 60 seconds.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Late Wednesday night, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history came to an end when a resolution passed in the House and was ultimately signed by President Trump. The bill passed in the House with 222 votes, including 6 Democrats. The shutdown began on October 1st and lasted as long as it did because Democratic senators would not agree to the resolution unless it included an extension to expiring health care tax credits. Democrats were prepared to hold out until the issue was addressed. However, Republican senators held firm. Eventually, enough Democrats flipped their vote and ended the government shutdown, all of whom are not up for re-election. Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia explained his reasoning for ending the shutdown, saying, quote, "There was no guarantee that waiting would get us a better result, but there was a guarantee that waiting would impose suffering on more everyday people," end quote. The shutdown has negative effects on a wide variety of people, including those who rely on food assistance through SNAP. Now the government is reopened. Its essential programs like SNAP will return to giving people the help they need.
This past Monday, the Mirage Yearbook put on an event where you could take your yearbook photos with a pug. Newswave reporter Odalis Caballero got us more details and, of course, plenty of pug content. Let's take a look.
This Monday, November 10th, the Mirage partnered with Austin Pug Rescue to bring an adorable and heartwarming event to campus, Pugs and Portraits. Throughout the day, students stopped by to take the yearbook photos with some very special four-legged friends. The event was held from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. between Miller Fountain and Northrop Hall, and aimed to bring a little extra joy to students while supporting Austin Pug Rescue and their mission to help pugs find loving homes. We spoke with the member of the Mirage to learn more about this fun collaboration.
Hello, my name is Austin Garza. I am the Sales and Marketing Director for the Mirage, and today we partnered with Austin Pug Rescue to pretty much get people to come get their photos taken, and in the process, come say hi to these amazing animals, pugs. They're all up for adoption, and it's a great day outside, and we're really excited to be here.
The event was a huge success, drawing a steady crowd throughout the day. Students spent time with pugs, posed for pictures, and took a much-needed break surrounded by wagging tails. The setup featured photographers ready to capture each student's perfect yearbook moment, along with members helping sign people in and match them with their pugs. We spoke with a few students about why they decided to stop by and take part of the event.
Hi everyone, my name is Isabel Molina. I'm a sophomore and I came here to pet a puppy because I really like them and they're a good distressor.
Hi, my name is Daniela and I'm here at the Pet a Pug Take a Picture event because I love dogs and I think they're super cute.
Hello, my name is Crystal. I am a junior and I came to the Pet a Pug Take a Picture event because I love dogs. And this week is going to be really stressful because I have a lot of exams. So I feel like this is a great opportunity for me to just have a time to have stress relief and just stress free and just pet some dogs.
I'm Sanaya Paniker. I'm a freshman at Trinity and I came to pet a pug because I love pugs and they're just so cute and I wanted to make my day happier.
Pugs and Portraits was a heartwarming event that brought students together to make a few new four-legged friends. The day was filled with plenty of pug love, with some finding a new home. Stay tuned for more fun and engaging campus events throughout the semester.
SNAP, or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, will be resuming following the end to the longest U.S. government shutdown in history. CBS News reports this critical program, which helps provide low-income families with food, risk losing funding following the government shutdown. On Wednesday, the United States Department of Agriculture confirmed that SNAP payments to states were resuming, allowing families who rely on SNAP benefits to use them once again. While a welcome relief, this funding was recently the subject of a fierce legal battle on whether or not the U.S. government was required to provide SNAP benefits amid the ongoing lapse in government funding. Victoria Negus, a senior economic justice advocate at the Massachusetts Law Reform Institute, noted that even with SNAP benefits resuming, the lapse in funding that it experienced has still hurt many Americans. She told CBS News, quote, "You can't eat retroactively when your SNAP was delayed. Getting your delayed benefits is better than never getting them at all, but it doesn't help the harm that you experienced in the past," end quote.
On November 10th, the Supreme Court rejected an appeal to overturn the decision that legalized same-sex marriage. Kim Davis, a former Kentucky court clerk, presented the appeal in effect to overturn a lower court order that required her to pay $360,000 to the couple she refused to give a marriage license. Her lawyers appealed to the dissenting opinion that Justice Clarence Thompson wrote in the 2015 case, as he has called for the same-sex marriage to be erased. Chief Justice Johnson Roberts and Justice Samuel Alito, who also dissented from the 2015 ruling, had not advocated for Davis's appeal. In response, Human Rights Campaign President Kelly Robinson said the decision to reject the call made it clear that, quote, refusing to respect the constitutional rights of others does not come without consequences, end quote.
Still ahead, your weekly sports update from the road and more information about typhoon in the Philippines. I'll be right back after the break.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Typhoon Fenghuang has blown out of the northwestern Philippines after leaving a path of destruction, causing floods, landslides, and at least 18 deaths. The storm weakened over the South China Sea and is now moving toward Taiwan, where it is expected to hit on Thursday as a tropical storm. According to ABC News, Fenghuang slammed the northern Philippines with super typhoon strength, following closely after Typhoon Kalamagi, which previously killed at least 232 people in the central provinces. At least 1.4 million people moved into emergency shelters before Fenghuang made landfall, and around 240,000 evacuees remain in centers as of Tuesday. Floods and fierce winds damaged over 1,400 houses and submerged at least 132 villages, trapping some residents on their roofs. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. declared a state of emergency in light of the extensive damage from both Kalamagi and Fenghuang. Schools and many government offices closed whilst numerous flights and sea voyages were canceled, stranding thousands of commuters. Bernardo Rafaeletto Alejandro IV said, quote, while the typhoon has passed, its rains still pose a danger in certain areas. Rescue and relief operations are now underway.
Newswave sports reporter Ian Strang is on the road this week with cross country and has our weekly sports update on the scene.
Welcome back to another week of Tiger Sports. Unfortunately, I'm not in the studio as I am in California with cross country to help with the media as they race their regional meet. Let's get into some Tiger Sports. Number 22, Trinity football travels to Tennessee this Saturday for their final regular season game of the year. The Tigers will face the Maryville Scots in the two programs' first ever meeting. I'll get to a preview of that matchup in a second, but first, let's look back at the weekend's Senior Day win against Millsaps. The Tigers put up 42 on the Majors 24 with outstanding performances from freshman defensive back Parker Moeller and senior linebacker TJ Scannell, who won SAA Special Teams and Defensive Players of the Week respectively. Looking ahead to the Maryville matchup, the Tigers expect the Scots to run a pass-heavy strategy. The Scots are led by quarterback Bryson Rollins, who is on the cusp of throwing 3,000 yards this season with 27 touchdowns. However, Rollins has also thrown 9 interceptions, so expect the Tigers to capitalize on that this weekend. Out here in California, Tiger Cross Country is competing at the regional race hosted by Pomona-Pitzer. This is the last chance for the teams to make a bid at Nationals, with the winner getting an automatic bid while the other teams race for an at-large bid. The men's team is currently ranked 8th in the region, and unfortunately, a bid at Nationals is unlikely for them. Instead, the men will probably be looking to beat their 8th place prediction, having finished in that position for 2 years in a row now. The women's camp is filled with bigger goals after their dominant performance won them their conference last weekend. Senior Gianna Kina is favored for a top 10 finish, a result that will likely earn her a bid to Nationals as an individual. An individual bid, however, is not what the team is looking for. The Tiger women are currently ranked 28th in the country, 4th in the region, and are looking for their first national bid as a team since 2017. Last year, 5 teams from the West were given a bid to Nationals, but this year, that may not be the case. A 4th place will likely get the Tigers a bid, but it will be in tight race for that spot with Pomona-Pitzer and UC Santa Cruz. And another contender like George Fox is also possible, but as long as the Tigers finish no lower than 5th and don't get beat out by a team like George Fox, they should make it. If you missed last Friday's volleyball game against Southwestern, well then I'm sorry about that. 3-0 sweep against the Pirates, hoisting the regular season championship trophy, and Julie Jenkins got her revenge on the Pirates. They kept up that momentum into their final regular season game the next day, beating out the Hardin-Simmons Cowgirls 3-1. With those wins, Tiger Volleyball keeps their number 8 ranking heading into the SAA Championship this weekend. They win against Center today. They play in the championships tomorrow against the winner of Berry and Southwestern. Number 5 men's soccer is hosting the first round of the NCAA playoffs against Hardin-Simmons this weekend. The Tigers and Cowboys faced off earlier this year, where Trinity shut out Hardin-Simmons by 2 goals in September. Should the Tigers beat the Cowboys, they will play in the second round Saturday night game against the winner of TLU and Whitman. Women's soccer dominated SAA championships last weekend, beating Center 2-0 in the semifinals and then Rhodes 3-0 in the championship. Absolute monster of a weekend from Hannah Kahn, who contributed 3 of those goals. Round of 64 starts tomorrow night on the Paul against Hardin-Simmons. Tigers faced off against the Cowgirls back in September, winning 2-1, and they'll face against them tomorrow night. If the Tigers win their matchup against the Cowgirls, they move to the winner of McMurray and California Lutheran on Sunday. Swim and dive were split up this weekend as part of the team competed at the D3 shootout in Chicago, while others competed at tri-meet against Rochester Institute of Technology and Sunny Nesco. In the D3 shootout, the men finished 4th out of 10, while the women finished 6th. Freshman Kaya Alvgard-Strubel won SAA Swimmer of the Week after an impressive 200-meter performance that got her 3rd in the meet, 4th in Trinity record books, and would have won her last year's SAA championship by over a second. Her fellow freshman, Juliet Hood, won SAA Diver of the Week, scoring 242.4 on the 3-meter and 242.9 on the 1-meter. Trinity Swim and Dive will return to host their annual home meet in 2 weeks. Men's hoops started their season last week with an 82-74 road win over Mary Hardin Baylor. The Tigers had 5 players score in the double digits last weekend, including junior Dylan Walker, who led scoring with 15 points and 4 rebounds, and sophomore Will Bronson, who won SAA Player of the Week in his first career start. Bronson posted 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks on an 83% shooting record. Way to start the season, Hot Boys. Tigers hope to keep that momentum as they hit the road to play against Emory on Saturday and Chicago on Sunday. That's your Tiger Sports recap. Come cheer on men and women's soccer teams as they play their first round of regionals at home this weekend. For more information on your Trinity sports teams, visit trinity.com.
The BBC's Director General Tim Savey and Head of News Deborah Turnus quit last Sunday following a leaked internal report to the Daily Telegraph. According to Reuters, the leaked memo admitted to bias, as before airing the November 2024 presidential election, the BBC showed a documentary that presented President Donald Trump as inside of the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021. In response, Trump's lawyers have threatened to sue the BBC for, quote, no less than $1 billion if the company does not retract the documentary by November 14th. The scandal comes before the government considers extending the BBC charter renewal, as the current 10-year charter ends in 2027. Amidst criticism about its funding model and perceived liberal stance, the BBC has seen an increase in people canceling their licenses. With both the lawsuit and the uncertain charter renewal, the BBC's crisis seems far from over.
This past Monday marked the beginning of the COP30 Climate Summit in Belém, Brazil, where many world leaders came together to discuss what could be done to limit climate change. One person that was not in attendance was President Trump, which according to Reuters, made it difficult for leaders in attendance to create a formalized agreement. The summit is sponsored by the United Nations, and as a member of the Security Council, the U.S. has enormous say in any agreement. This led to nations at the summit to focus on smaller efforts, such as deforestation, that don't need consensus. While President Trump was not in attendance, other Americans did make the trip, including California Governor Gavin Newsom. On Trump's absence, Newsom said, quote, "What the hell is going on here?" End quote. Climate talks like this one have had success, as a new UN report says greenhouse gas emissions are expected to drop by 12% by 2035 from 2019 levels. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week.
Newswave will return after Thanksgiving break on December 5th. On behalf of all of us here at Newswave, we hope you all have a safe journey to wherever you may be, and happy Thanksgiving. Until next time, I'm Kiara Taylor.
And I'm Emma Holcomb. Have a great break.